Welcome to Subramani. Have you become an investment collector or an investment museum? Well, many people will not admit to it, but over a period of time, with increasing net worth and many salesmen visiting us, and we thinking we are smart, our portfolio becomes big and unwieldy, and it has too many items. For example, it's easy to find, it's not very difficult, rather, I would say, to find a person who is about, say, 65 years of age, 60, or even from 55 to 70 years of age, with an extremely complicated portfolio. And because they have built it themselves, they will not even admit that it is complicated. So they will definitely have direct equity. Because somewhere when they started, there was nothing called mutual funds. So they will have direct equity, they will have equity mutual funds, and if they have had bank relationship managers as advisors, they will have, and if they have had 2-3 banks, they will have similar funds across 2-3 portfolios, and their NSDL statement would run into 14 pages, 15 pages, and you're wondering why somebody has that many mutual funds. Then the richer people will have some private equity in which they have invested, so that will be another portion. Then there will be people who have bought paintings, people who have invested in art funds, real estate houses, real estate, which is houses and commercial property given out on rent. And then when you ask them, they tell you that no, mine is a very simple portfolio. I have some mutual funds, some direct equity, some bonds, some bond fund, some real estate, some art fund, and how does this become a simple portfolio? This is not a simple portfolio. This is a very complicated portfolio. My take is something very simple. My take is, I'm not saying simplify your portfolio. I'm saying ask your spouse and children whether they are going to manage it after, how are they going to manage it after your death. Because a person who creates it does not even admit that it is a complicated portfolio, right? So that is where the problem starts. So if you have a portfolio which is long and complicated, step 1, make an inventory of what you have. Right, so some people don't even have an inventory of what they have, because they have just said in their will that assets as per annexure number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those annexures are not ready, right? So first make an inventory of what you have, then make a. So when you start talking to such people, the first thing is they go on the defensive and they say, oh, it's not a very difficult portfolio to handle. I've been doing it along with my full-time job. So what is so difficult? Well, I'm not trying to tell you what you've done a good job or a bad job. And then the same record is played back to you saying, you only said that I need to have a diversified portfolio. So when diversification is overdone, then it becomes something like divorcification, where it is divorce rather than diversification, right? So people have made a mess like that. And I wouldn't call it a mess. Maybe at some stage that was necessary. Some bank RM walked in and sold you an art fund. Maybe some bank RM walked in and sold you art. Maybe your wife is an artist. Maybe she understands art, so therefore you bought. Or maybe you yourself are interested in art. But at some stage you need to have a portfolio which is not so unwieldy and so big and long. Look at your portfolio. Let's say you are 70 years of age and you have such a long and big portfolio worth 30-40 crores, and you have one daughter who is decided that she's not interested in this. She's done some humanities course or something. She's married, she's settled down in US, and there is very unlikely chance that she's going to pay attention to this portfolio. Your spouse is not interested in managing such an unwieldy portfolio. She knows that she gets enough money in her own savings bank account in form of dividend or interest or rent or whatever, and she can live by that without paying much attention to the portfolio. At this stage, if you want to simplify, first you have to make an inventory of what you have, and second answer is you have to answer a question saying, why do you need such a big unwieldy portfolio? Today when the index is 65,000, it is not a bad time to get rid of some shares or some mutual fund, redeem your money from mutual funds, or if you think that mutual funds are a better option than direct equity, and at this age you have to pay attention to your portfolio and you don't want to, or you can't for whatever reasons, get rid of your direct equity, get rid of your real estate, right? It is not easy running around collecting rent and attending to leakage problems and electricity problems, or somebody saying, oh, the insulation is not good, you have to change this, you have to change that. Because when you have 1 or 2 properties, you are more a manager than a owner. If you have 20 properties and you put it in a company where there are managers looking after it, then it's a completely different ball game, right? So if you have created this portfolio, first make an inventory, see why you bought them, because there may have been some purpose for buying so many different assets. Maybe you wanted to help a builder friend get rid of some property, and now it's giving you a good rental yield, which does not happen in India. But you have some sentimental reasons or whatever. Today those reasons do not exist. Or maybe you inherited one flat from your dad or from your parents, and you have not got rid of it, right? For whatever reasons, my brother is in US, my sister is in Australia, we all have to sit and sell together. It doesn't really matter, get them in, sell it off, take power of attorney, but get rid of it. Because there's a very big fear for this generation who are now in their 60s and 70s, that their children will not pay even this much attention to their portfolios. Whether they will even attend to your mutual fund portfolio, forget direct equity portfolio, because I see direct equity portfolios of people which have not been attended to for 7, 8, 10, 12 years, when their father got dementia or got bedridden, and then after 4, 5 years he died, and then suddenly they wake up and say, oh, these are all shares which are lying, some in demat form, some in non-demat form, some with nomination, some without nomination. It's a big mess getting back the whole thing into proper shape. It is your job to do it. You have made the portfolio. It is for you to clean up the portfolio and give it in an easy form for your children or even for your spouse to manage, especially if your spouse is a woman who refuses to learn or does not want to learn, or you also realize does not have the need to learn. Let's say you're 70 years of age, you've created this portfolio and you lived till the age of 76, 77, then you were hit by some illness and you died 80. And your wife is say 75 now, or your wife is now 65 and she lives till the age of 80. So which means another 15 years. And you realize that your bank fixed deposit itself will last through till she is 80, so which means another 15 years, or some of your mutual funds you will be able to do a systematic withdrawal. So get rid of all other assets and simplify it. So first make an inventory, realize why you have such a complicated longish portfolio. Sit with your wife, ask whether she wants to manage, does not want to manage. Ask your children whether they want to manage, do not want to manage. Ask your children whether they are attached to anything specific, right? Some property which in which they grew up and you don't want to sell it, so be it. But at least know why that property exists, right? So having done that, having made an inventory and having realized that this is what you have and this is what your spouse is willing to manage after your death, you can now start simplifying the portfolio. I don't know why that's not very complicated to start simplifying. It is your sentimental reasons. Oh, I bought this with my first salary. So at this age of 65 or 70, you realize that you need X amount. Let's say you need 3 crores for your retirement and you have something like 13-14 crores. I mean, beyond that you really don't need. Beyond the 3 crores you don't need. So wherever the money lies, it doesn't matter, it has to lie in a simple place. Make sure that the mutual funds have proper nominees, the names are right? Do all those things. While you're consolidating your portfolio, make sure that it is clean. Simplifying and consolidating your portfolio has to be an ongoing exercise, and at 65,000 it's not a bad time to get rid of some of your equity. Could the market go up higher? Of course the market will go up higher, but so what? You had you made your money. You have created a nice portfolio. This portfolio is going to pull you and your spouse through the rest of your life. Having done all that, why would you complicate by making a mess and saying, oh no, my children will take care of it? Children won't take care of it. Ask your children, ask your spouse. Is your spouse interested in doing it? Does she want to do it full time? you have maybe nothing else to do and therefore you are spending time on it. Maybe you're actually hurting your portfolio. Maybe your portfolio is underperforming the index. I'm not even getting judgmental about all this, but get rid of art fund, get rid of real estate. These are far more complicated to handle. Then get rid of direct equity, because it's again more difficult to handle for your spouse and for your children. Stick to mutual funds. That's one of the simplest things that you can do. Bank deposits, annuities and mutual funds, these should be the only things in your portfolio beyond your age of 70, because at that stage you may also lose the ability to decide which share to buy and which share to sell. Right now I don't have that ability. I don't do equity research. I talk to people who do equity research. At 70 I would lose that also, right? So one has to be careful about a portfolio, because a portfolio has different roles. When you're 20 you want growth in your portfolio. When you're 70, 75 you want simplicity in your portfolio. When you go to the ATM, put your card in, you want to hear a whirring sound and the cash should be available. Or whenever you go and charge your card, nobody should return it saying, sir, isme balance nahi hai, right? You just want that, nothing more than that. So please simplify. I'm saying this again and again. I've made videos in the past and I realize people are not simplifying their portfolio. Their children are just coming and dumping everything and going away. This is going to be bad news. Kids are earning very well. Your 5 crore, 7 crore may not matter to them. So be careful about your portfolio. Simplify. It is easy. Do it when you're alive. Thank you.